This recorder is running out of memory. I set it to loop. Oh, God help me, it's hard to stop talking. This is all I've got left. I'm scared to go back into the bus. I'm scared to stay out here. I'm just so scared. It's always dark now. If only the sun would come. Shh. I think it's in the trees. Is that the professor? Is someone there? Oh dear God, the air is so heavy here. I can hear it coming now. I'm putting this in the box. Department heads have signed off. This project is now eligible for my thesis. I don't think Professor Loop was too happy about having the journalism department involved. But 6 months in the GI mess and a tour driving armored convoys in Iraq? Can't turn down that kind of experience, could ya, Doc? So, I'll get $12 an hour, credit as driver and field cook, and a chance to scoop the biggest story in Western archaeology since, I don't know, whatever the last one was. Oh, this will make for a great resume. Watch out, National Geographic, here I come! March 3rd, 2014. So, I've decided to read up a little on Old West mining towns. I don't know jack shit about archaeology, and I don't want to be a total load. Also, I'll be recording everything, for posterity. Never know what I'll need for this thesis. I'm off to an orientation meeting with the archaeological crew now. Updates to come. March 3rd, continued. Okay, so this Dr. Loop guy is a real hard ass. Says I can't video or photograph anything while I'm there. Didn't say anything about digital sound recorders though, and I certainly didn't ask. He says a find like this would be too tempting for another archaeologist to steal. He added looters as an afterthought, but I think he's more worried about his reputation. I can't say I blame him. I'm looking forward to a big story here. I gotta be pissed if this thing goes bust. Oh, speaking of bust, that's where we're headed. Bust, Montana. I'll spare the academic backstory, that's available in writing. Short story is that there's this place called Bust, somewhere just over the Idaho border into Montana. In the words of Dr. Loop, it's a legend has it kind of place. I guess they weren't even sure it existed until a survey crew came across it 2 years ago. It's not technically a town, since it never formally registered in the territory. I guess the original settlers, miners and whores mostly, weren't keen on other people knowing about their little operation. It's not even on any maps. Dr. Loop said that the legends say that a gold vein was found that was so rich that no one wanted anyone else to know where it was. That's why it's called Bust. For the same reason that Greenland is ice and Iceland is full of trees, he said. It makes sense in a way, and apparently it worked. By the time truth got out about the size of the load, the town had been completely abandoned. The first rushers that showed up only saw old buildings and piles of slag. They said they couldn't even find the mine. After that, it became a ghost town. And then it became a moss-covered heap. But now we get to go dig it up. Exciting, isn't it? March 15th. Departure. Alright, gear is stowed, I got my driving shoes on and we're ready to boogie. I think the Archies will be a fun lot, they've already started drinking. I got one more title to my credit. I get to shoot the official photos of the dig. Loop said that my journalism degree has got to be good for something. I can't have the camera to myself though. They're stored away with the other gear. Can't be too careful. Yeah, right. Well, let's get rolling. Got a long drive ahead of me. March 15th, continued. So, I don't think I mentioned the bus. We got a full-size commuter bus for 12 people and the gear. It's university-owned, but it looks like something Buddy Holly might have toured in. Old as shit. Drives likes it too, but I've driven worse. They took out the back several rows of seats and turned it into a makeshift lab. I'll be sleeping in the bus. They said it would be a good idea for security's sake. Personally, I'm just glad I won't be stuck outside. Looks like rain. March 15th, continued. Last stop, Smoky Little Mountain Town. The ride has been beautiful. Misty mountains, slow drizzle, no traffic. We're way out in the boonies here. The trees are old and dense, a real postcard if I've ever seen one. There's still patches of snow, but the green is already coming back to the valleys. I certainly won't mind spending the next 6 weeks out here. Sure as hell beats the sand and IEDs of my last camping trip. Okay, this place is... wait. March 15th, continued again. Alright, this place is weird. At dinner time, the Archies wanted to grab some grub in town. It'll be the last time in 6 weeks that they won't have to put up with my cooking. Huh. Say what you will about the army, it'll make you a good cook. They'll find out soon enough. So, anyway, we pull into town here. All the passengers are asleep, okay. So we come into town and I swear to God that all of these people are all standing outside along the street, just standing. It's not a big town, but it's like everyone is just hanging around outside in the rain looking at nothing in particular. Maybe they heard the archaeologists were coming and just didn't have anything else better to do. If they were expecting Indiana Jones, I think they were disappointed. That would explain the sour looks on all of their faces. Not sour like angry, mind you. I never got the angry locals hate the outsiders vibe, which would actually be preferable in a lot of ways. They just seemed vacant. The whole town. So we got gas and hit the local dive. A greasy spoon joint with burgers, meatloaf, and nothing else. And I swear to God that not one person outside of our little group said a damn thing the whole time. Not when the waitress took our order, not when we paid, nothing. And they all just stood around when they weren't doing anything, kind of staring off into nothing. Strange. March 16th. Got to the campsite late last night. We all just crashed in the bus until morning. Not like literally crashed, I meant slept. Anyway, I just finished my first meal with much aplomb. Bacon, eggs, oatmeal. We bought enough food for a week. And then I'll have to go back into that town to restock. I'm not looking forward to that. Apparently, I wasn't the only one to notice everyone was acting weird. It's all the Archies could talk about on the rest of the way up. One guy said that they all looked dirty to him, and they smelled like dirt. And the waitress had twigs stuck in her hair. Another girl said they reminded her of bad actors who'd forgotten how to play their parts. Said she thought that they didn't act like real people, like... Oh, what's that? I'll be on my way. The good doctor requires my assistance. Time to earn my keep. March 17th. I don't think it's just the town that's a little messed up around here. Maybe it's the altitude, or maybe there's something in the water. I've heard of mineral poisoning that people get from poor mining practices. Maybe the old miners of Bust were using a little too much mercury or something. That's gotta be it. Or maybe someone's just screwing with us. Yesterday, when the doctor called me down, he wanted me to start taking some photos. The crew had just tied off their grid, a neon checkerboard of strings tied to stakes, and were busy clearing off the surface vegetation with their trowels. The university has a sweet digital camera setup, and I kinda got lost in the work. Next thing I know, it's lunch, which means I'm on deck. So I whip up a few PB&Gs and fruit salad back at the bus and we all chow down. Now, this is where it gets strange. After lunch, we head back to the site to start digging, and we immediately notice that something is wrong. Everything looks exactly like it should, except that the string grid on the ground is all messed up. I swear that just half an hour earlier, we were working in a meticulously laid out 1 meter by 1 meter pattern. But suddenly we all noticed that the measurements were all wrong. The first square of the starting point, the datum was fine, but after that, the second and third squares were only about half as wide as they were long. The ones after that went off at a slight angle. And the further away from the datum it got, the more screwed up it was. None of it was that screwed up, but it was all just off a little. I thought that if it had been the terrain or something, I would have noticed earlier. Naturally, all of our first thoughts were that someone had snuck in while we were off eating and pulled up the stakes. Problem was, as the doctor soon noted, after he told everyone to back the hell off and to go back to preschool to learn how to draw straight lines, was that the string had been pulled tight around the pegs at all the corners when they were adjusted, so that it looked like it was professionally tied off that way. A feat that he assured us would have taken far more than a half hour. Moreover, the areas where the crew had been clearing away the surface vegetation still followed perfectly along the lines of the grid, even after it was screwed up. I was shooting the whole morning, and I know that those guys were following the lines like the smartest kid in the kindergarten. So what then? How had the whole thing gotten so screwed up? I don't know, I had the bright idea of checking the photos I'd been taking that morning. As soon as I clicked the review button on the camera, I nearly shat myself. All of the photos showed the crew working diligently away at excavating skewed and off-center grid squares. Everyone there swore on their lives that they'd been in perfectly measured pits. After that, Dr. Loop took all the booze in camp and locked it in the bus's cargo compartment. He said that the crew was on thin ice and that it wasn't fucking funny. I agree, but he never did explain how it was he'd gone all morning without noticing it too. Though I could tell that he was bothered since he was only yelling half-heartedly. March 17th, continued. I haven't had much to do since the crew has spent all day trying to recover from the damage caused by the screwed up grid. I decided to go back over the pictures on the camera. I pulled them onto the laptop just for that purpose. Battery life is limited, but I'll risk it. I noticed something strange. Well, something else strange. There seems to be someone else in camp with us. I know how that sounds, and trust me, I've double-checked, but after counting up the number of people 3 times, I always come up with 1 person extra. That's 13 people. The damnedest thing, though, is that I can't decide who's extra. I go through the images, and I can name every one of the people in them. All 12. But when I count up the number of different faces, there's 13. Since there are no pictures of everyone together, it's hard to tell which face is extra, though you'd think it would be obvious. Maybe someone just changed clothes or put on makeup or something. Hard to tell, can't really rationalize it no matter how hard I try. March 18th. Yesterday, after my last entry, I went to Dr. Loop to tell him about the people in the pictures. I didn't know how he'd take it or if he'd even listen. But when I got to the site, I found him yelling at one of the grad students. She was holding half a spool of neon string and yelling back. The problem was obvious. She was claiming that they double-checked his measurements and all the stake positions fell in the same place every time. The grid was messed up again. "You watched us do it!" she'd shout. "It was perfect!" Sure didn't look perfect from where I was standing. Okay, Jesus Christ, so I just did an experiment. Thought I'd engage in a little science of my own and took a picture of myself with the camera. At first, it looked like just another bad selfie on the internet. I was almost relieved. But then I noticed the shape behind me, just outside the bus window. It was a person, off in the bushes behind the window glare. He or she looks damn familiar, but I can't tell exactly who it is. Oh, fucking shit, man. March 18th, continued. It's nighttime, or at least it's dark like nighttime. I guess night comes early in these parts, 'cause it's barely past dinner. The stars are out brilliantly. On any other day, I'd do some stargazing, but I think I want to just hang out in the bus for a while. It feels safer in here, and the Archies are at each other's throats out there. The only predictive thing we've done for the past 2 days is that one guy found a tin box as he was driving a stake in the same place for the 3rd time. Normally, I think they would have excavated the box out of the ground slowly, marking down all the sciencey stuff as they went, but Loop had it by then, and he just shoveled the damn thing out. It was locked. I could tell that everyone wanted to know what was in it, but the good doctor checked himself right before wrenching it open and damaging their only find. He wrapped it in paper and stuck in the makeshift lab area of the bus until we got back to the university. After that, everyone seemed to chill out and they packed in for the day. But then, it started getting dark. No one seemed to notice the early hour, so I just let it go. Dinner was good, but no one seemed to appreciate it. I made extra dessert, hoping it would cheer everyone up. They didn't even touch it. They don't seem to be in the mood for cheering up. More cake for me, I guess. They're all in their tents now. I guess it's as good a time as any to get some sleep. March 19th. It's still dark. I had to check my watch twice. It's 8:36 a.m. now, 2 hours after I was supposed to be up. No one came and got me, which makes me feel like an idiot. I'll have to apologize for the late breakfast. Maybe I'll run into town and get everyone pizza for lunch. That should make him smile. Maybe they didn't wake me up because the rain came back worse than before. Clouds must have come in during the night. That could explain the darkness. Sounds quiet on the roof of the bus, but maybe it rained all night. Can't dig in the mud, can they? Well, either way, they're gonna need breakfast. They're all gone. Every tent is empty. Maybe they're at the dig already. I've got the coffee on the stove. It'll be a while, so I'm gonna go check it out. Oh yeah, and it's not raining. I don't know what I was hearing on the roof of the bus, but it sounded like rain. I don't know. It's still nighttime, not a cloud in the sky, and this far from the city, the stars are spectacular. Oh, I wish I was in the mood to enjoy them. Maybe my watch is broken, but then, why are they all gone? March 19th, continued. They're all just standing there. There's one lantern in the middle of the dig, and they're all just standing around it, not moving. I can't see their faces from here. There are 13 of them. Okay, I'm heading back to the bus. I thought to go back to town and get help, but then I remembered how everyone in town was standing around and not saying anything or doing anything as well, just like the crew. Can't be a coincidence, right? So now I don't know what to do. Maybe the doctor has a satellite phone in the emergency bag in his tent. Holy shit! They're back at the camp. Shh! I gotta whisper. I don't know why, but I don't want them to see me. How did they beat me back? They're all just standing in camp. There's only 12. They're all staring into the trees. The doctor has a cup of coffee, but he's not drinking it. I didn't see him get it. I think I must have fallen asleep or just stopped paying attention, zoned out. He's standing near the front of the bus, and there's something wrong with it. Different. It looks older, like the paint is cracked and there's moss growing on the hood. It looks like it's been there forever. I hope it still starts. I'm getting the hell out of here. There's something in the trees, maybe. I don't know. Tendrils in my mind. A warning. A final warning. No more. Patience is waning. Don't make it come to us. What the fuck? I don't remember making that last entry. I'm just sitting here in the driver's seat with the recorder running. Just staring out of the window. I don't remember getting into the bus. That last recording, I just don't remember it. I can see the top of a single tree in the starlight. It's not a pine, it's moving around back there. Is it? It's hard to tell, it's still so dark. Yeah, it's definitely moving. Oh, god damn it, man, trees shouldn't move. The stars. I just realized I don't recognize the stars. March 20-something. I made it to the tent. The doctor didn't have a phone, but I found a map of the site in his stuff. It's one he drew a couple days ago, after the grid fiasco. It shows the messed up grid, and I noticed something. All of the distortions make a pattern that slowly kind of funnels down to a single point. It's not where the box was, it's kind of off to the east, just outside the grid area. I don't know what that means. I'm back in the bus now. There's shit growing up through the floorboards and dust everywhere, like it's been abandoned for years. But nothing else is touched. All the gear is shining like new under the layers of dirt. It's almost like the outside is just coming on in, making itself at home. It's real quiet out there. I can't find the crew. Shit, the bus doesn't start. I can't even get the keys into the ignition. It's too rusted. I'm going back to the dig. Maybe they're there. Maybe I can wake one of them up or something. They're all standing around a post just to the east of the grid. I think it's the spot marked on the doctor's map. They're staring down at the ground. No, a hole in the ground. They've got their arms full of something. It's shining in the light. Gold. This must be where the original settlers made their strike. I just noticed that the grid is overgrown again. The bright neon strings are faded out and sagging. Weeds everywhere. How did they fade without the sun? How long have I been out here? It seems like forever. Alright, fuck the gold. I'm going back to the bus. Maybe I can get it started. Or maybe there's something in that box. There's only a photo. It's an alternate or chroma print or whatever they call those old-timey pictures. It's a group of old miners standing around an exposed chunk of ground that would probably shine gold if there was color. Written across the top are the words, "Only 12. There are clearly 13 people. Wait, there's something written on the lid of the box. It says, "It isn't like them digging in it. We shouldn't be here. We are warned." What the fuck? Well, whatever it is, it should know that I didn't do the digging. Do you hear that? I didn't dig a damn thing! It's in the bus, but it'll be coming out soon. I saw it just before it came in. Through the dusty windows, I saw it. It was just sticks. Maybe a tree moving along like a man. I bailed out the back and crawled under the bus just as it came through the door. I don't think the tree man was all of it. I think it was just part of it. I think everything is part of it. I'm lying on it right now. The tree is just doing what it says. The tree man moves like a two-legged spider. Its branches twist around like a dog's head. Like it has eyes somewhere in that tangled thicket. I don't know what I'm saying. It feels like I've been awake forever, and I don't feel alone. I feel like there's someone else here with me. I can't see anyone. I wish I had the camera. The camera can see it. It's getting closer. The stick creature is gone, I think. It's hard to tell since it looks like trees. I can feel it waiting. I think it can feel me too. Yes, it knows exactly where I am. There are tendrils. Something reaching into my head. It wants me to say something. A warning. To stay out of its world, to not disturb it. The people in the town couldn't warn us. They were already part of it. It's old, so old. And it's tired of us. Getting fed up with us. It will come in its own time, soon. That's it. I don't know what it means, but I've said it. Maybe it'll let me leave now. I'll put this in the box. I hope it helps. The little indicator light says that my voice recorder is running out of memory and...